Welcome to Forex Films. Today is August 17th, 2011, and we have a very important day today for the US dollar and the euro, in that we have reached a lower high and moved down very sharply from it, and we have completed a three-wave pattern that it looks like we could start heading much lower now. As long as this high holds, we are set to have long-term continuation lower. A break of this previous high would set us up for 147.50, 147.80 area, most likely for a retracement. But I was watching this today, and since we have come down off of that high so strongly, I expect continuation lower, and long term, medium term, and short term. And euro numbers have been negative lately. Eurozone CPI and Eurozone GDP and German GDP were all lower than expected, and the more recent news about Italy and Spain being helped out so much by the ECB to try to prevent yields from creeping up too high for those countries too, to make sure that they don't need bailouts. So really, the ECB has stepped up its monetary policy in a big way, but more hidden than it was before. And the lack of a new quantitative easing program for the United States will allow the US dollar to continue higher from here. So I continue looking lower as long as this high holds, and as we'll see, it's pretty much the same on most other US dollar pairs. Here is a 4-hour chart of the Australian US dollar exchange rate. Made a 5-wave movement down, and now we made wave A, B, then C of 2. As you can see, it's pretty clear 5-wave movement for wave C. We've come up between the 50% and 61.8% Fibonacci retracement levels, and we should start heading down much lower at this point. Dollar yen. All the threats of intervention have still not come to pass yet. We had this huge surge from previous intervention, and we just totally retraced the whole thing and more. Now we've entered this period of consolidation. It appears that we've broken down out of this consolidation, so it's just a matter of time, probably tomorrow, where we'll hit new all-time record lows for this pair. And a 4-hour chart of the pound dollar. This one has broken out strongly to the upside because of technicals more than anything else. Move to daily chart to show you what I'm talking about. We had this consolidation pattern here that made it very obvious that it was going lower, and then when everything started moving higher, instead of this acting as resistance, it's more like just a reason to bounce even further. So what you can see has happened here is this is most likely wave 1 down, and then A, B, C for this large wave 2 pattern, which is common for the pound dollar. So I expect a lot of downside risk in this pair also. I really expected 66.30 as final ideal high, but a lot of times it will reverse before my ideal targets, so I've already reversed my position in this. And the dollar Swiss. This is a 4-hour chart. You can see that I was counting this as 5 waves up to here, but it's possibly also 5 waves up to this point. Either way, it looks like we're geared for some renewed downside. Actually came out in the news that the Swiss National Bank is not going to peg the Swiss franc to the euro, at least not yet, and they're not even setting a target for a currency. So none of the rumors, none of the threats came true, and this really allows us to retrace down on this pair. Minimum target would probably be 76.50, 75.50, but we could retrace this whole thing. Really, this move down here looks like possibly wave 3, so we could experience another record low, and if that did happen to be the case, I would like to try to get long again. But for now, I'm short-term bearish, long-term bullish, and medium-term it looks mixed. So we also have the dollar CAD. I threw up the Fibonacci levels on here, and as you can see, if this correction is complete, like it appears it is on every other US dollar pair, then we have a running flat Elliott wave pattern here, which is fairly rare, but could mean we'll get lots of continuation to the upside. So keep your eye on this pair. I really expected it to drop quite a bit lower, more likely to the 97 level either today or tomorrow, but now, since it wasn't able to even move lower than this previous low, I'm willing to go more with the running flat trade. New Zealand US dollar, and of course this looks a whole lot like the Australian US dollar. This kind of disappointed me. I was hoping to get to 85, but we just barely made a high past the high on wave A here. This is actually a much more clear pattern than the Australian dollar and the dollar CAD, because this really forces you to count it as 5 wave, which is why it's advantageous to trade multiple pairs, because when you're forced into account, because it's the only possibility, then that will show you where other related pairs are going. So I'm looking much lower on this pair also. We'll see what can get us there. All the technicals are pointing for dollar gains tomorrow, tonight, except for dollar Swiss and dollar yen. Thanks for watching. I appreciate any questions, comments, and please visit forexpoems.com.